Okay, we are adding sign numbers. So these are negatives and positives. When you're adding a positive number, it moves you right. So to the right is the positive side of a number line. When adding a negative number, it moves you left on the number line. So if we were to use the number line to find these answers, we're going to begin at -2, which is here, 2 below 0. And then I'm going to add +3, which means I'm moving to the right. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going up 3. So I end up at 1. Here, if I'm starting at a +4, if I'm adding a negative, I'm moving to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I end up at -2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So moving this way and moving that way, right and left. So the rules for adding is if they have the same sign, they're both going the same direction. So you're just going to combine them and it's going to stay with that sign. So if I'm adding +5, +2, it's getting bigger and bigger. They're both moving to the right. So I add them up and it stays positive. If I'm adding these two positive numbers, it's just classic addition, 9, 10, 11, 12, it's +12. And when we have a positive number, we don't usually put the positive sign, but for now we can. Now, if I'm adding negatives and they are both negative, they're both going to the left. So I'm going to add up the digits and it stays negative. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It'll be -14 because we combine them and it's the same sign. Then if I'm adding opposite signs, here I'm going to be subtracting the digits and the leftover will have the number of the greater absolute value. So what is absolute value? It means just what's the digit itself. Let's ignore the sign. Which one's the bigger number if there were no signs attached to it? So if I have -2 and +3, because they're going opposite directions on the number line, I'm going to subtract the digits and my leftover is going to be positive because the 3 wins. So +1. So I have -8 and +4. I'm going to subtract these. So I know I'm going to have 4, but the 8 has a greater absolute value. There's more negative numbers than there is positive. So the answer is going to be -4. So +1 and -7. If I'm combining these, I have to subtract the digits. I'll get 6 and the 7 wins. So my answer is negative. I'm adding +9 and -5. They're opposite. So I'm going to subtract the digits. And the leftover is going to be positive because the 9 wins. So let's just do some practice. So they have opposite signs. So I'm going to be subtracting 7 and 5. I mean, 7 and 2 would be 5. But the leftover is going to be negative because the 7 beats the 2. Here they have the same sign. So I'm going to add these digits and it stays negative. It's -5 plus -4 is -9. Here I have nothing plus -3. So I stay at -3. 4 take away 4, or 4 plus -4 is going to be 0. I'm adding opposite signs, so I'm subtracting, and they're the same but opposite signs. Here we have 3 plus -8, so they're opposite signs, so I'm going to be subtracting. And the leftover is going to be negative because the 8 has a greater absolute value. The 8 wins. Here we have opposite signs, so let's subtract. The 4 is positive, it's greater absolute value than the 1, so my answer is positive. All right, same sign, I'm going to combine, so I'm going to add these and it stays negative. Opposite signs. I'm going to subtract and the 7 wins, so it stays positive. When I have more than one operation, I usually move left to right. You don't have to, it just keeps it organized. So here we have opposite signs, so I'm going to subtract. It's going to be -2 plus -1 when I add those up. Now I have the same sign. So I'm going to add these digits and it stays negative. So here, moving left to right, just going to write it below it. -7 plus 3, opposite signs. I subtract. The 7 wins, so my answer is negative. Then I'm going to write the next addition next to it. So opposite signs, I'm subtracting. The 6 wins. It's +2. Then plus a -2. These are opposite signs, so I'm subtracting, and they are both 2s, so my answer will be 0. Carefully moving left to right, doing one addition at a time. I'm going to have same sign, so I'm going to combine, it stays negative. Plus the next one is a +6. They're opposite, so I subtract. The 7 wins, it's -1. Plus a -4. I'm going to combine them. It's going to be -5 plus that last 5. So these are the same sign. I added them together and it stays negative. Then I'm adding this +5 lastly. I kind of ran out of room, so I'm going this way now. -5 plus 5 is 0. Adding opposites gets you back to 0. Here I'll move left to right. +9 plus -3, opposite sign, subtract. My answer is positive. Plus +8, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, both positive. So I stay positive. Plus -4. I'm going to subtract, and the 14 wins. So my answer is positive. 14 minus 4 is 10. Then last but not least, I'm adding a +5. 10 plus 5 is +15.